The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Hey, listener. Listener, yeah, you. Do you know what you're listening to? You don't? Then why? How did you even get here? What are you clicking on your phone? How did you end up in this dark web of podcasts? But anyway, this week's episode of PSVG Prime is brought to you by those amazing folks over at patreon.com/PSVG. But special thank yous to Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Barboni, Chris M, Devin Tyus, Paul Calico, Kyle Heyman, Benny Lou, and Joel Voss, better known as Professor Switch. If you are not a member of this amazing Patreon, and I'm not just saying that, I'm not biased, I'm completely, I have no skin in this game, if you will. I'm just saying this might be the best Patreon on the internet. Just might be, because you get a lot of things. You get PSVG DLC, which is recording now. So if you're listening to this, it probably already came out, most likely. But you have them available, and they're just ridiculous. You get to know the real Donnie, if you know what I'm saying. You also get Kevin Hates Everything. You get Arcadia Academia, most recent episode, Fire Emblem. Why? Because Fire Emblem came out today. So why not? We'll go back and revisit the past. But possibly the most exciting thing on here is you get entered into our monthly giveaway where we give away stuff every single month. So current offerings in our prize box right now includes $20 in Apex Legends credit, NBA 2K Playgrounds on Nintendo Switch, or $20 to the eShop of your choosing. But this month, as we do every month, we add an additional prize. And this month, we added a PlayStation Classic console, which may or may not have been legally or illegally hacked to add many more titles than what's included on the base console. To get in on all the action and help support us, head on over to patreon.com/PSVG. Hey, we appreciate you. But now, let's get on to this week's episode of PSVG Prime. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of PSVG Prime. It is I, your host, Kevin, and with me, as always, the oh so dapper, oh so mysterious, and oh so handsome, Lucas Rose.
One of those things is true. Thank you. I'll let you choose.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, which one of those things?
It's different for everyone,
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder?
Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder, yes.
Beer holder. Well done. How you doing? This week?
I'm doing okay. I'm feeling good.
Are you? Are you feeling good?
I think I got this. Feeling real good. I think I got the two kids thing figured out. You know what I mean? Like I feel almost like a person again. Like, hey, I'm getting 5 hours of sleep at night. I can do this now instead of 3. No, it was never that bad. Almost, but never quite that bad.
I think you were going to say, like, I never get 5 hours of sleep.
Exactly. I do that thing where you sleep for 2 hours, wake up for 1 hour, and then sleep for 3, and then wake up for 2. It's very confusing. I have alarms on my phone. That's all.
That wake you up for 2 hours?
Yeah. What? Why do I have a controller in my hand? Why am I playing a game that hasn't even come out yet? What year is it?
How am I playing a game that hasn't even come out yet? It's funny you mentioned the two kid thing. So like this week, actually, my sister-in-law just technically yesterday. Yeah, early yesterday as we're recording this, had her first kid. And it was exciting because she's always kind of been that person that would say she never wanted kids, but secretly you're like, I think she might want kids. And
yeah.
Now she has one. But my brother-in-law, who is the one who infamously only plays PUBG for the most part and really nothing else ever, he's not really been around kids. Like him and his brother were around the same age. There was never like small talk around. Like he never changed diapers or anything like that. He's now a dad of 2 days, and he still has yet to change a diaper. So he still doesn't know what's happening.
What?
He assisted a nurse in doing one. My wife actually changed the baby's first diaper, which I thought was funny.
That's always helpful, though, because, the parents are always just like, I don't care. Somebody take care of my kid. I'm tired.
Yeah, that's pretty much. And she went to the hospital to be induced on Tuesday. but didn't have the baby until Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon, really. So
gosh,
yeah, she went through a lot. Luckily, everybody's good. She was being induced because she had some like low blood pressure, so they were just concerned. There was nothing urgent. It was not an emergency type thing. Didn't end up didn't need a C-section. Although I'm surprised they made her go through this for like 2 days before making that decision or saying, hey, this isn't working. But yeah, so all is good. But it's funny watching my brother-in-law kind of stumble through this new dad stuff. Like he doesn't know what to do, doesn't know how to help, and he's like texting me as this is going on, as it's getting closer and closer to the birth. He's like, well, they just did the epidural, so I think it's getting real. Like her water broke, all stuff. He's like, I don't know what to do, and I told him, I was like,
should I be doing something?
Yeah, I was like, listen, and I sent him a text message before he went in, like early on, saying like, hey, nobody will ever give the dad credit for anything. I was like, and it's fine. The mom does all the hard work, but I was like, let me just tell you a few things. I'm like, you're not gonna be ready, you're not prepared, you never will be. And that's fine. You'll learn as you get along. Like you'll be fine. But I was telling him, as it was getting down to being serious, he's like, "Oh my god, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do." I'm like, "Well, number one, stay at her head. Just stay next to her. Like, you don't need to see what's going on. Stay away from that. Don't, it's fine."
I mean, I saw.
And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "All right, I'll." He's like, "That's where I am. That's good. That's good." I was like, "All right." I was like, "And be prepared." I was like, "You're gonna see every emotion out of your wife." In the next 30 minutes or so. I was like, and just realize no matter what you say or do, you're not going to be right. So just nod your head and be supportive and, wait for it to all happen. I was like, but just remember at the end of the day, this will be like the best day of your life. It's just going to seem horrible as it's going on. But then when you reflect on it, you're like, oh,
it's true. Memory.
It's true. And then the sad part is like, they weren't ready. Like the babies, I mean, they'll be fine. They're going home tomorrow as we're recording this. But they only have like the bassinet, the crib, and all the furniture is coming in on Monday because it's 3 weeks earlier than they were expecting. Like that stuff's not done, but it's fine because like when they're that little, they don't need all that stuff. It's fine. But he was putting in like a closet storage system to hang all like the baby's clothes and put diapers and stuff in there. None of that got done.
No.
The baby's room used to be the room for the cat, essentially. They had like the big cat tree and stuff, which that's a lot of there. Like that's fine. The room's been painted and stuff. But what he was supposed to do was build a room in the basement because their basement's unfinished so far. So he's just going to put up some walls and make one room in the basement to put the litter box and stuff downstairs. Mm-hmm. That never got done. So he's going to have a lot to do when he gets settled in.
Real honey-do list there going.
Yeah, and he's a handy guy, and I told him I'll help out as much as I can. I was like, I'm not ground up, but you tell me what to do, I can certainly help you, kind of deal.
Can you change your kids' diapers for me?
Yeah, I was like, I will do that, no problem. I can handle that one. But yeah, so it's just funny watching, just with all the experience I've had. Obviously, been doing this for 16 years at this point.
Yeah,
watching somebody do it for the first time, and he's only like a couple years younger than me, I just find hilarious. So yeah,
that must be a really weird, thing to watch happen, especially for somebody who seems, because I had that perception on me that I wouldn't know what to do, mm-hmm. but it comes naturally.
It does. It honestly does.
Eventually, it's second nature. So
yeah, and that's what I wanted to tell him because I knew nobody was going to tell him that. So he's just going to think like he's just doing everything wrong, and I'm like, no, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
But we're here to talk about games. Believe it or not, we're not a parenting podcast. Although we should make a parenting podcast.
With your experience and my.
And you
about games,
just my experience and you,
and me, I'll be there.
Yeah,
then we can do it.
That's a thought. It's a thought. Maybe a new Patreon tier, new stretch goal.
We need another new Patreon tier.
Yeah, right. But we'll talk about video games. So let's kick things off as we do each and every week and talk about what we've been playing. So Lucas, you have one thing on this list. Is that really the only thing you got?
I really do only have this. I'm telling you. The movies, they've been getting to me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like summer blockbuster weather or what, but
no, it's fine. I just want to make sure because we both have this on the list. So I'll go first so that we can talk about this last one together.
I like that.
Because we actually played it together too.
We did.
So as I mentioned last week and talked about briefly, my time in Portia, I gave it some more time. So this was the Harvest Moon-esque type thing where you're the handyman, you build stuff in the town. I want to keep playing it. But the new thing that actually annoys me more than anything is these load times. It's really long. And I'm playing on an Xbox. I'm not even playing on Switch. Like Switch was known to have some bad load times. This is on a regular console, so it's even weirder. But it's not just the length, because if it was just like a long load screen, but I didn't have them very often, I would be like, okay, that's fine. you get a load screen each and every time you go in and out of a building. Like, and you have to a lot. Like, you're running to town to deliver stuff and get supplies and go here and there, and just you're sitting then for like a minute each time with a load screen.
Yuck.
So I can't do it. So I think I'm deleting it, unfortunately.
It's like a PlayStation game. Every time you do something.
Yes. Yeah, and it was like I wanted to play it and I was having fun. It was just it's too much waiting that I don't want to do it. So,
I don't blame you. That sounds like a mood kill. I mean, that's one of those things that we take for granted now, but you know, you try to go back and play a game that you're loading constantly and it just sucks you out. We're used to that immersion of, you know, here's a 5-mile in-game world and it never has to load except for once when you start the game for 20 minutes. But after that, you know.
Yeah. No, it's true. And
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so like I just can't. I mean, I have so many things on my backlog that I don't feel like I should waste time doing this, especially when I'm basically forcing myself to not play Apex or to play it sparingly. Like, okay, I'm only going to hop in and do my daily missions for the battle pass, and then I'm hopping out and playing something else. Like, I've been good about doing that lately.
You're like in recovery.
I'm still playing it more than anything else, but I was like, I need to talk about other things, and I want to play other things because we have stuff coming up. Donnie and I will be playing Wolfenstein Youngblood. We're going to co-op it and hopefully stream it too. So, I wanted to make sure I'm in the habit of playing other things.
So I got some humble bundle games that finally unlocked today. So hopefully next week I'll have something besides my one thing for this video game.
Yeah. Speaking of humble bundle, I think these next two games I'm going to talk about probably could have come from humble bundles.
Oh no! I mean, that's great.
Well, much like humble bundle, sometimes you get some good ones and sometimes you get some stinkers.
Very true.
So this first one, unfortunately, it's a stinker, and it's called Fade to Silence. And this is by Black Forest Games, but it was published by THQ Nordic, who has a history of like sometimes the games are good, sometimes they're not good. Kind of like Platinum Games, I think, for me, like where some are good, some aren't. And Fade to Silence is a survival RPG set in a cold and deadly world of post-apocalyptic winter. You assume the role of Ash, a natural but tormented leader exploring a post-apocalyptic frozen wasteland, gathering the resources necessary to establish a refuge for survival. With dwindling supplies, it's hard to upgrade equipment, collect materials, require immediate expedition to scavenge the necessary items. Basically, it's if Dark Souls met a crafting game with PS2 graphics. It's not good. The voice acting was okay, but basically the game starts off where you're waking up in a cave, and you look almost like a Viking-esque kind of person, not with like the horn helmet, but like just furs, grizzled beard and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And you're in like a winter landscape, so just kind of remind me of that type of atmosphere. But this like demon spirit thing almost comes out of you, like you were dead, and apparently the demon brings you back. He's like, "I'm not done with you yet," and he like resurrects you, which I think is why the guy's name is Ash. So Phoenix Ash, and you start having to battle these demons, but like the combat's really clunky. It's just constant like grinding. Like I'm all for survival, like Resident Evil style, like survival. Like, hey, you have to manage your resources. You're not gonna last. This game is like ridiculous with it. Like it just makes it the point that it's not fun. Its Metacritic score right now is a 55 out of 100, and user scores a 4.5 out of 10. Oof. I'm honestly probably right about there, to be honest.
Wow.
I put in like an hour and a half, and I'm just like, this is just bad. Like it just looks bad. It runs bad.
That's more time than I would have given it, probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if sometimes they get a little bit better once you get into it, but it's weird. But the next one I spent more time playing, and I probably put about 3 or 4 hours into this one, and this is weird. So this is almost like the Rotten Tomato effect, where you get like this movie had great or like bad critic reviews, but the viewers, like the audience scores, were really high.
Mm-hmm.
Except in this case, the Metacritic score for this next game is a 73, which I agree. It's probably around a 75, 80 for me. But the user score is only 2.4 out of 10.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really not balanced. And I don't know why. Like, I'm looking at the professional critic reviews, and I'm like, okay, I agree with them. And they're all pretty good, and I agree with them. But basically what it is Vaporum is the game I'm talking about. It's a grid-based dungeon crawler set in like a steampunk setting, inspired by like the old games like Myst or Riven. It kind of like, it feels like that. But basically, the subject of the game is you're stranded in the middle of an ocean in front of a gigantic tower. The hero has to find out what the place is, what happened there, most importantly, who he is. You kind of just wake up there, and you go through this factory, and it's kind of like a puzzle thing. Like, okay, I need to push this switch to open this door. There's some light combat here, but it feels like it's inspired by like Dead Space and what's the name? Has Big Brothers and Little Sister BioShock. That's it. Just because like the atmosphere is more BioShocky because it's like in the middle of an ocean. It's like a steampunk tower. Like that reminded me of BioShock.
Yeah, there's a lot of pipes and stuff going on.
Yeah. And you pick out a I forget what they call it, like a rig, very similar to Dead Space, like that suit you put on. But there's different ones that will give you different abilities that you can pick as you play through the game. Like some are better in combat, some are better at puzzle solving, and so on and so forth. But being grid based is probably the only negative thing for this. Like I get why they're doing it. It moves very much like those old Mist and Riven games. Like, okay, you move forward, so I'm going to slowly move forward one square. I want to turn to the right. You slide over to the right one square. Like it operates like that. But it plays very much like a Riven or a Mist type game, which I love those old school like point and click adventure games. Where this is basically the same thing, just with a little bit of combat in it. I don't know really where the story's going yet. And I think I'll keep playing it, honestly, because it does seem interesting enough. Although it's not like a great game. Like I said, the 73 Metacritic score I agree with versus the 2.4 I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems kind of fun. I could definitely see this being, well, I think it is on PC, but it is on PC. But I could definitely see this being something that might intrigue you or that could have popped up in a Humble Bundle or will pop up in a Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
It was released this year, so it's still new, or it's April. It came out. It was we got a review code for it, so I'm still gonna keep playing and see what it is. But so far, I like it. It's definitely a nod to the nostalgia factor, which we typically see like the retro games, and they're always like pixel art games. So that's what we think of retro. But this feels like a retro PC game, in the fact that it's like the old school action adventure type point and click adventure games.
Have you heard of Legend of Grimrock?
No.
Okay, very similar. Came out in 2012. They made a second game. Does the grid-based combat, the dungeon crawling aspect. I think it's a little bit more combat heavy and less puzzle oriented, but still basically the exact same thing.
Okay, yes, it's just not steampunk. It's like more actual dungeons, like brick.
Yeah, fantasy, exactly.
Yeah.
I think in this one you basically play as 4 prisoners who were sent to the Underdark of Grimrock, and if you survive, you get to be free. That's like the whole conceit of that.
So. Okay, but yeah, I'm watching a quick video of this. What it looks like, it does seem very similar to that.
Well, then I'd probably like what was it, Vaporum?
Vaporum. Yep. Yeah, although Legend of Grimlock seems to have higher ratings on Steam.
Well, they were like, I feel like they were one of the first to bring this back, and so
it was like 9 out of 10 on Steam. But Vaporum is 9 out of 10 as well. So I guess it's just like the console was rating it lower, so it has the same rating on Steam at least. So,
what are you playing this on?
Xbox.
Maybe people don't like using the controller.
It's quite possible, or they're just not akin to those types of games because you think they don't play those games. But I grew up on those kind of games, so I have an appreciation for them. But I guess if you're one of them younger kids who only play games on them consoles, you're like, what is this? Why is he moving so weird? Yeah, that's probably part of it too. Yeah, I can appreciate that. But yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm intrigued enough to keep playing with it. So we'll see where that goes.
Cool.
So last game, and this is the one we both have. I'll let you go first because I've been talking and I have scratchy throat all of a sudden. I'm not sure why. So
okay, scratch your throat.
Take it away.
All right. So the one game that I played is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 Trace, and which of course is a Switch exclusive. And I picked it up because everyone I know was talking about how they wanted to play co-op together, which if you're familiar with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, I found out about those games way after the fact. So multiplayer on that was not going to happen for me.
Right.
But yeah, and then of course, we got the Marvel movies coming out, everything's hype. So it was like the perfect time for this to come out. It kind of changed. It tried to be less realistic and more cartoony, but that's okay because being a Switch exclusive, I think that's probably plays to its favor. I know Donnie is really enjoying the art style, or at least specific areas of the art style.
Certain character models.
Great modeling, yes. So my initial impressions. Okay. I boot this game up to play by myself. I figure you got to play a little bit before you jump in, at the very least, to just be able to acclimate yourself to the game and how to play. So I booted up, and you're immediately greeted with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm one of the people who I just have this, I feel like I need to play as the leader for some reason. In fact, I actually am kind of annoyed because when I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, or at least 1, because I haven't played 2 yet, I would get rid of the other 3 characters. I hated having AI follow me around. It was so annoying.
Oh, okay.
And yes, that means that the game was so much harder. But and sometimes I would add one other character. But to have these 3 AI controlled characters like bumbling about, running around you, just kind of took me out of the experience. And so,
but you couldn't do those awesome like team up abilities though.
Yeah, but I didn't care about that. I didn't even really know about it because I immediately
I guess, yeah, that's true.
Get rid of these losers. So I would just be used to kind of playing as Captain America or whatever and being on my own. So I played as Star-Lord, and I don't know if it's just me, but that character sucks. Did you get the same feeling? Because he uses pistols, and he, like, for me, he was constantly getting hit, which interrupts what you're trying to do.
Yep.
And I feel like his time to attack or his animation frames to run through his attack was just took too long, and I could never do anything with him.
I'm feeling that with all of the ranged characters. So there's a few characters you get that will, like Hawkeye's another one where it's like everything is from far away. Their attacks definitely do not do as much damage at all. I mean, even if you level them up, they're not on that level. Some of their specials do, and they even out there, I think. But you have to like power up to get your special. So it's like it takes a little while to get there. So I think you just have to change your play style. But typically, like you said, playing the other games, and myself included, I'm used to just jumping in and bashing everything. And you can't do that with these characters, those characters specifically, at least.
Yeah, you need to be dodging constantly and shooting. And so to have that be your first character that you play as, and don't get me wrong, you can switch if you want to, which I eventually did, and then had a bit better of a time. But that really colored my impressions of the game at first. And then it's also one of these games where you unlock things, not just characters, but you unlock abilities and the way that you level up your characters and stuff. That all kind of opens up as you play a little bit.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to that, I was like, oh, okay, things are opening up. For instance, in the original, you could unlock different costumes. And I was really looking forward to that here, but I think they only have it in a limited way in the Rift version
of the
game, where you have to go through and play the bosses. Basically, they're boss fights that have different sets of challenges to unlock things. And I saw you could unlock costumes there, but I was kind of bummed about that because I was kind of looking forward to these costume changes in this nice HD high texture, stylistic looking game, and then it was like, oh no, we don't have any. And then the other thing that kind of was bumming me out was, and maybe I don't know if you feel this way because we haven't talked about it yet, but have you noticed how as you level up your character, you have 4 powers that you unlock, and they have 4 ranks each?
Yes, 4.
I was kind of bummed when I looked at them and realized they all have the exact same structure. The first rank lowers the cost. The second rank lowers or raises the attack, and the fourth one or third one does whatever. It's the same for every power, and I was just kind of like, oh, so there's really no customization beyond buying what you buy in the lab, but that applies to everybody. So I don't know. I was just kind of it's weird because I sound like I'm bad on the game a little bit, kind of humming and drumming and moo, but it was just something I had to get used to. And you brought up a good point to me, which was I was thinking of this as in terms of a game overall, but you also have to remember this is the 3rd game in a series. And if you look back at 1 and 2 and how far this has come compared to that, especially when it comes to the action, the way it's presented, and the way it controls, you know, in that sense, it has come a long way. So that kind of changed my opinion too, because I think I was looking at it in the wrong lens, I guess. Once I readjusted my expectations, I'm like, well, yeah, that does make sense. Thinking back on it, the first one was almost like a point and click. You could play it with a controller, but it felt slower compared to this.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's probably my only big criticism of this game is simply the upgrading and unlocking and all that kind of stuff. It's a bit ominous for people who aren't used to this type of thing. Like my brother-in-law got it as well, and he's been playing it, and because he's a badass, he's playing it on the harder difficulty, whatever they call it. So he's been playing that, but he's like, oh, I got to Kingpin. I can't beat Kingpin. And I was like, well, have you done this and that? Upgraded people, use those experience cubes. And he's like, what are you talking about? He had no idea about how to upgrade your character. So he's just been playing with the fact that they level up and that's it.
Oh man. So he hasn't and I'm always hesitant to use those because I can't pick favorites. I just kind of bounce around. I'm like, I don't want to spend all my cubes on Wolverine when I might want to play somebody I haven't unlocked later.
Yeah.
So
yeah. At least though, so I'm not sure how far you are. We'll get to that in a minute, I think. The new characters, as you unlock them, they unlock at a high level already. So whatever level you're on, they seem to scale it a little bit. So you never really fall too far behind. I find myself actually using those cubes on the characters I've been using that just don't seem to level up as quick as the new person you unlocked. I just unlocked a few characters and they were actually higher than the people I was already using.
So you use it to bump up so that you're on the level playing field, so to speak.
Exactly. So I've been taking my favorites that I have been using and saying, okay, I'm going to bump them up and maybe switch out some of these other people for these new unlocks and see how they are.
That's not bad.
But yeah, I like it. I like the art style. It's a solid game. But I had somebody ask me today saying oh, how is that game? I was like, well, what did you think of 1 and 2? And he's like, well, I didn't really like them. I said, well, then this isn't going to do anything to change your mind. I was like, so if you're not a fan or have some sort of affinity to the original ones, I don't think it's going to sell you on anything different. If you've never played one, then try it. There's no harm. But if you've played them and you're like, this isn't for me, then this game also is not for you. I don't want to try and convince anybody to get this game that was not a fan of the other ones at all.
Yeah. I will say, having not played the second one, it's pretty clear that you don't need to have played any of them to really understand what's going on, because
they said that this one was going to be a reboot anyway. So yes, it's labeled 3, but it takes place in a different universe, or however Marvel wants to put it,
Battle Earth or
exactly, yeah.
Or yeah. So yeah, it's it to me, if you were going to start somewhere, start at 3 for sure, because like I said, compared to the first 2, it's hard to go back. I wanted to. I started to, and then I was like, man, this is way worse, because I played this on the original Xbox, I think.
Yep.
So it's because this is one of those titles that came out for 360 and Xbox, so it must have been pretty early. So yeah, it's tough to go back. Start here if you're into Marvel. But yeah, like you said, it's a formula. It's not going to change anybody's mind. It's like Diablo. There's a way of this conducts business, and if you don't like it, you're not going to like it. So.
Yep. I like the story so far. I like the boss battles. I think it's all well done. It's well crafted.
The voice acting.
So the voice acting is hit or miss, depending on the character. I feel for some reason. I won't say how far I am in the game because I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm pretty confident I'm further than you. So where are you in the game? What level are you on, or who are you fighting now, or whatever?
The farthest we have gotten together. So we beat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not that far at all. What's that, stage 4? Kingpin, just past.
Yeah,
Kingpin?
yeah.
Ping.
So I fought 4 bosses after that, so I've gotten substantially farther. So I've unlocked probably a lot more characters too.
Wow. Yes.
And some of the later voice actors are good. It just kind of depends. So it's not spoilers because the whole roster's been revealed. But I just unlocked Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
His voice acting is bad. It's very much a generic, I am from hell and you cannot stop me. I was like, oh man, that. I don't want to hear him talk, which is a problem because if you're playing those characters, you hear them say things as you continuously play with them.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy who does Deadpool is the same voice, as far as I can tell, who does it in the Marvel versus Capcom games.
Okay.
Because it sounds just like it. So Deadpool's kind of fun to play with because he's both a mix of ranged and hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
But as you play them, like, he'll just slice people, and then he'll pull out, like, submachine guns and start shooting. And as he's shooting, he's like bang, 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 bang. Like, he's just saying the words.
It's fun.
So yeah, so some of the voice acting gets fun, but certain characters just are off. Iron Man, I think, is fine. I played a bit as Iron Man. I've played a lot as Venom. That one's fine, but there are some certain ones that are just bad.
See, that's funny because Venom also has an effect applied to his voice, but it doesn't sound nearly as bad. I think.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me or annoy me as much, at least.
I can't wait to get Ghost. What is with Ghost Rider? Nothing can be done well with that character, apparently.
And it's true. I was like, but he's so good in this game, at least. Like, I played with him for a little bit. Like, he's a good character. I mean, he's got the chain, so he's got like it's melee, but he gets far out there. And the last special you get, so his fourth special, he actually busts out the motorcycle, and he kind of like spins it around, so it's like shooting flames in a big circle, and then like rides it and it disappears. Like, it's really freaking cool, but it's just like, man, I don't want to hear him talk, though. That's the only thing.
If they would have got Nick Cage to do
God, that would have been great. All for it. But yeah, I'm having fun. I am gonna get the DLC pack. I'm buying the additional characters. I do want to do a little bit more research, because I believe there's also story content with these DLC packs as well, which makes it a little bit better, because they announced that first one was going to be the Marvel Knights one, which had Blade, Moon Knight, Punisher, and Morbius. So they're all like vampire related esque. So I think there's going to be a special story tied to that. And then there's an X-Men one and a Fantastic Four one. So I think they're going to have some sort of story content to add to it.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it's good. I like it.
I think it seemed like they were gonna do a couple expansions or something, DLC story packs, at least like the way that it's shown on the screen and stuff made me think, okay, they're gonna do with the expansion pass and all that it's gonna be more than just characters, and I hope so, because that would be really awesome.
Yep, so, I agree. And we're getting so not like free DLC. They're adding Colossus and Cyclops get added on August 30th.
Yes.
So I don't think they're getting story content, though, but they are just making them in the characters.
I wouldn't expect from a free update like that, but
right.
I got to get my boy Colossus. He's my fave. He's my favorite X-Men.
And it's funny because they're both, when you get to the X-Men portion of the story, because once again, no spoilers, we know they're in the game.
Spoilers.
Yeah, Wolverine's in the game. When they get to the X-Men section, Cyclops and Colossus play a part in the story, but they're just non-playable. So it was like really weird they weren't just included in the first place.
They had the character models down, but they didn't have the move sets or something.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you had to put a number on it right now out of 10, what is that number?
Right now about 7.5, 8, I think.
Boom. Yep. Same with you. 7.5 is where I'm at firmly right now. Anyway.
Yeah, I think once you play it more and you get to some of the better characters, not to squash on the defenders, but like Daredevil and Luke Cage and stuff, they're not as exciting. And some of the other characters you'll experience later gets to be a bit more fun.
I could see that. Well, and I'm not as familiar with the Defenders. I do like Daredevil, but as a character, but in general, their story doesn't, do anything for me really. So
I'm a little upset they didn't include Jessica Jones though as the playable.
Do you think free update maybe?
I don't think so. I think it's because I think her moveset would have to be similar to Luke Cage, because they essentially have the same power, but it's like, man, I if I had to pick one over the other, I'd rather have Jessica Jones. Like
a character. You could just change out the
but it's a costume for Luke Cage. But yeah, I mean maybe because her character model is in there and she moves in the game or anything like that, so it's there. But I just thought it was weird.
Well, I can hope.
Are you though? Are you hoping for that?
I mean, I don't know. Her special move is she takes photographs,
or she drinks whiskey, throws the bottle.
Maybe that's why she wasn't a character, because like everything she does, we probably can't show in this game. So
that's true. It is a Nintendo game, but all right. So that wraps it up for what we've been playing this week. We'll have more to report next week, including some different games as I try to not just play Apex every week, and Lucas will try and play some games for next week. Period.
Well, I promise.
There you go. So we do have some messages. We do have a mailbag again this week. Apparently you people like us kind of mocking your questions, so we have a couple. So it's time to check out the messages.
Message for you, son.
First one comes from a Jason Locky. Jason Locky. I keep seeing beer floats as a thing. Thoughts? I'm wondering by what he means by a beer float. Does he mean like a ice cream, like a sundae with like beer in it, or is it like a parade float and it's just a giant beer?
That's where my mind went.
Or is it like a pool float that's shaped like beer?
Ooh, now see a pool float shaped like beer while you're drinking a beer in a beer float parade.
That would be amazing.
Floats and eating beer float. Okay, I missed one.
That's just America right there.
That is what America was founded on.
That's true. So I googled beer float, and it actually is.
Does beer float?
No, it's like a root beer float, but it's with beer.
Yes, I have seen them.
So
I've not had one though.
I think I'd be interested. It looks like most of them are partnered like a chocolate stout or a mocha stout with coffee or vanilla ice cream. Like that sounds good to me.
Now, are you a supporter of the cola float, like Coca-Cola or Pepsi Cola? Because
yes, I prefer the root beer one, but I've done and this is gonna sound weird, but this is because of my white trash upbringing. I've done them at home myself, and I actually like Dr. Pepper floats, and black cherry cola in a float is really good.
Wow,
with vanilla.
I mean, call me crazy.
Crazy.
Thank you. Orange.
Oh yeah, like a creamsicle.
Or yeah,
totally. Or grape. You could do grape that way too, because grapesicles are the bomb.
They are. I think basically nothing can't be floated. Mountain Dew float.
I don't know about that.
Jolt Cola float.
Okay, soda float. Let's go. Okay, soda.
Yeah. Monster float.
Ooh.
5-hour energy shot float.
Tastes like chalk and ice cream. Yeah.
Not enough liquid for this float.
No. Now, so you've never had one, I assume. I've never had one, right?
The closest thing I had was like a bourbon barrel whiskey infused like ice cream dessert, but it wasn't a float, as it were.
Right. So it wasn't. Yeah.
Whiskey. So I mean,
would you try one?
Yes, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Honestly, that is a complete gut bomb for me. I mean, nobody would want to be around me if I eat that. I'm lactose intolerant, and beer makes me fart anyway, so it's just not gonna go down well. But I'd try it anyway.
We need to do one. We need to do a float and have it with dragon's milk. So dragon's milk float.
Oh my gosh, yes. And the flavored ones too.
Yep.
Like I tried the banana one, and
although I can't get the flavored ones out here. I can barely get the regular one out here.
But, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But I think that needs to be a homework assignment. Maybe we'll do one live on a show. We'll have a dragon's milk beer floats.
I like it. Let's just eat them during the entire show, so we're just smacking our lips.
The clanging of the spoon.
Oh yeah,
in the glass.
Sounds like a diner.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you, Jason Lackey. We appreciate the question. Next one comes from Jacob Rush from Nintendo Nostalgia. He asks,
Rush.
Yeah, what's the rush? Slow down, Jacob. Slow your roll.
Slow it down.
He says, so this episode is all about Metroid Prime, and my responses to that is, what are you trying to say? That Nintendo fans get obsessive and talk about things years and years in advance before it actually happens? Because, hello?
Yeah, I mean, what's there to talk about? Honestly, this series has been dead. Nintendo put a nail in it. I mean, yeah, everyone thinks this new one's going to come out, but I don't know how many directs have we had since they've leaked this or whatever, and haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, we got a logo like a year ago.
Yeah, you know what else has a logo? Skyrim 7 or whatever it's called.
Oh, that's true. And we've seen just as much of that. Actually, we've seen more of that than we've seen Metroid, actually, because they showed that teaser trailer. We didn't even get that. We just got a logo.
Exactly.
Which probably changed because they changed developers on Metroid Prime. So.
Oh no. Yeah.
It went to retro, which is good.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. That I say oh no because that just means
your dog is scratching himself. That's what that means.
That's the problem with the new microphone. Oh my gosh. Can you stop, please? you're not going to have any skin left. I say that's just going to take longer because you change and people are like, what are you doing here? This isn't how I would do that. Let's just redo everything from the beginning.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but that was like
10 years
half
ago.
a year ago at this point. So they should have something to tease us at least soon. I don't know.
As long as it comes out before Duke Nukem Forever, I think we'll be okay.
Fair enough. So last question we got, I had to edit this one. Because as everyone knows, we're a family friendly podcast here. And this question came from Caro. So bear with me. I'm translating her question, Lucas, because we can't ask in its native format.
Barely be intelligible now, but
that's true. Well, that's true. What the fork is wrong with you shirt heads for not getting Fire Emblem 3 Houses? It's the biggest mother-father thing Nintendo has going on basically all funking year, you ducks.
Did she have a stroke or something recently?
Well, I had to translate it because she used bad words that we couldn't.
Oh,
I can't say those.
Happening. Oh,
yeah,
I was about to say she needs to go to the nearest medical center.
I mean, she was at Chick-fil-A at like 4 a.m. They're not even open. Like Chick-fil-A doesn't even serve breakfast. So I don't know why she was there, but she was yelling that people were taking forever in the drive-thru.
Yelling about ducks. You ducks.
You ducks. And then she was standing outside Best Buy yelling at old people, which is not appropriate at all, to get this game. And then she apparently has been streaming it all day, which means probably by now she's drunk.
On power or beer floats?
I mean, both, maybe. I mean, she might be doing DLC. That might be how drunk she is right now. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Goodness. So why didn't you get Fire Emblem 3 Houses?
That's gonna be I'm gonna get that from the library. Honestly, the thing is, I got Octopath Traveler from the library and I didn't beat that game. In fact, I've got it 3 times and only played it once out of the 3 times that I've got it because I keep going. I'll come back to it, and then I don't. Now, do I think this is going to be a better game than Octopath Traveler? Abso-freaking-lutely. I think this will be much better, just in the sense that was a nostalgia, like, oh, we could still make games like this if we wanted to. I think this has more of a story and presentation that I would crave. But I'm not just going to buy into Fire Emblem. This is the first one I'll ever play.
Yeah.
I have no, dog in this fight, but I'm going to. Will you stop? Thank you.
You do have a dog in the fight, apparently.
I do. I'm going to fight a dog. Don't tell Twitch. So yeah, I just don't have anything like I don't know anything about these games. So I didn't purchase. Same thing with Dragon Quest. The 11 is it that came out?
It's 11. Yeah.
11. It looks amazing, but again, I have no personal, ties towards these games. So want to play them? Yes, I do. Want to own them? No, I do
not so much. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, I traded in games to even get Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which I don't trade in stuff anymore. So ironically enough, Octopath Traveler was one of the games I traded in.
That was an amazing thing to watch as you were like, FOMO. All right, I'm trading things in. I'm going now.
Yeah, because it was everybody else telling me what was going on. GameStop was doing a promo where they give you extra value towards Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and then my brother-in-law was like shaming me for not getting it. So
you're like, I have to do it now.
Yeah, which I did, and it is fine. But Fire Emblem budget is not there for me right now. And for me, like Nintendo, the next thing I'm focused on that I want to get would be Luigi's Mansion in October. So Fire Emblem for me,
the person who's going to buy that around here,
possibly. No, Caro is definitely getting it too.
If she buys everything,
that's true. Yeah, so I guess, but yeah, I like Fire Emblem. I've played most. I don't want to say all of them, but the thing for me is I can beat them fairly quick, and I know this campaign supposedly is substantially longer. It seems like based on some reviews I've seen. But for me, it's like the story isn't what drives Fire Emblem for me, at least at any point yet. Now this may change with this new one, but historically speaking, the story is like whatever. The characters are whatever. I just have fun playing the different maps and engaging in these battles, which that's the whole appeal. But I mean, I could continually play the old one and still have fun playing the old one. I don't need the new one. So I'm not rushing out to get this. I like you, I would like to play it eventually. I'll keep an eye on my libraries, although I checked my libraries recently and it seems like they had Switch games which I used to rent like over a year ago. It seems like they still have the same ones. Like they have nothing new. Like they stopped getting anything new. So I don't know if I can get that where I'm gonna have to wait for an extreme discount or for me to hit the lottery before I get Fire Emblem, but it's not in my scope right now, much like Astral Chain, much like Daemon X Machina. It's stuff I know other people are excited about. Just it's something like, yeah, I'd probably play all these games, but I'm not rushing out to get them.
Listen, we'll play it at about the same time then, and that will be after everyone else has moved on from it and nobody else is talking about it. So.
Yep, and then it'll do the conversation as we're talking about saying like, oh guys, this is really good. They're like, yeah, we told you jerks like 2 years ago.
Well, sorry.
Would you get it in a humble bundle?
I wish. Can they do Nintendo Humble Bundles, please?
I wish.
I wish to.
Yeah. But thank you all for sending in your questions. You can always send them to us each and every week, and we'll either answer them seriously or not at all, depending on what question you ask. You can feel free to DM us in the Discord and let us know, or reach out to us on Twitter at PSVG or at PSVG Kevin, and we'll be happy to talk about them on the air. Nathan, we know you sent one in, but you literally sent it in as like we were getting ready to record, and yours requires more thought.
Yours is a book report answer.
It is. So, and I'll say, Lucas, not giving away his question yet. His question, I think we need to give an example of each of the ones he listed.
Yeah.
Since we're putting it off, we'll come prepared next week to answer it in depth.
Yes.
So stay tuned, Nathan. But let's move on. It's another week, which means we have more news to talk about. So let's talk about the news of the week.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite news outlet on the Citadel.
Mr. Rose,
Yes.
why don't you go first? Give us one of your stories.
Okay. Let's start with the PC thing that I saw. So I thought this was interesting for two things. Here's the headline. You're supposed to pour liquid into this solid state drive. Now, if you're not familiar with PC stuff, or I mean, this is not necessarily PC stuff. You could easily have a solid state drive in a console, but it's basically a giant SD card. It's memory as opposed to memory storage, as opposed to an optical disc, an actual hardware mechanical thing. It's all electronic. So it's the world's first liquid cooled M.2 drive. Now I'm not really familiar with that technology. That's basically the way that it hooks up. Think like USB or whatever. This is a slot that's on your motherboard. You smash it into the slot and then it starts working like magic. Now, this is liquid cooled. We have liquid cooled CPUs. I have a liquid cooler on my CPU as we speak. Liquid cooled graphics cards. Liquid cooling. I've said liquid cool a lot.
You have.
Is not a new thing. Okay. It's been around for a long time. Only in the last like 10 years has it really become what they say, like an all-in-one package, where like what I bought, where you just slap it on there. It's not something I had to go make myself. You used to have to like bend tubes and run your own length of water cooling and then buy specific blocks that go on, take the fans off your video card and then slap this block thing on there. So that's what this basically has, is a liquid cooled block. It runs the liquid through itself. And here's the real question. Why does your hard drive need to be liquid cooled?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And it says it drops the temperature around 10 Celsius. Where'd you get this article from? Canada.
John Capri.
Sean Capri. Thanks, Sean Capri.
Well, Celsius.
Yeah, I guess how much difference is that in actual temperature? 'Cause in my head, like that doesn't sound like a lot. Like, is that really worth it? I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing. Do you want to know?
You one thing, brother.
How many hard drives do you think in my computer are cooled in any way right now? Air, liquid?
0.
Yeah, 0. Exactly. So while I think this is interesting and it looks really cool, especially since it's blue.
Yeah, it does look cool.
And silver and really cool looking. Why? not for me, man. I'm a PC guy, and I'm looking at this, and I'm just like, okay, no, next.
Yeah, I don't get.
There are I don't just subscribe to every PC fad that there is. Okay, I have boundaries.
And it's not even the new 4.0 drives for PCIEs.
I saw that. I was like, okay, so it's even older tech.
Yeah. So even though it's cool that it's not reading and writing any quicker than those models are, so I don't get it.
It's ridiculous eye candy. It's going too far. It doesn't even have RGB lights on it. So what is the point?
It's true. But yet you're supposed to pour liquid into the solid state drive. You know what kind of liquid you shouldn't pour into your solid state drive?
Beer floats?
Cat barf.
Oh.
So
does that pour?
I mean, I guess it could.
You pour like milk when it's expired?
Well, yeah. I mean,
tell me more.
Yeah. So Jaded Blue on Twitch was in the middle of a stream playing Escape from Tarkov when his cat walks in and out, and he looks over at his cat. He goes, "Hey, what's the matter, buddy?" Because the cat kind of looked weird, and the cat decides to vomit into his computer, which shorted his computer out and stopped his Twitch stream and fried his entire computer.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So bad, fried his whole thing. It's just, I don't know how funnier it could get. Like, you're just playing. Now, he doesn't have a ton of followers. He has 132 followers on Twitch, so it's not like a thing.
So he can't afford to replace his computer, is what you're saying.
That's actually exactly what I'm saying. So, like, while he's getting new followers, possibly doing it, but he hasn't been able to stream since. He checked in on Twitter to say the cat and himself is fine, just a stomach bug or something. But the gaming PC, however, is just done. The only parts you're able to salvage was the PSU, his solid state drive, ironically enough, and his HDD, and the case itself. Everything else is done. So
I don't know, man. The case, it went in the fan grills. It looks a little chunky.
I mean, maybe you can take it outside and hose it off or something. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't clean it in the house, but
just shake it, like turn it upside down and shake it out.
Shake out, yeah. Yeah. So this pictures and stuff, if you're so inclined to go find that. But yeah, don't liquid cooling, okay. Cat puke heating, not okay.
Liquid vomit.
Liquid vomit, not okay.
Yikes.
Yeah. So Lucas, hit us up with another one then.
Sure. I think I'll get into some of the one heavy article I have last. So let's start with let's go to Nintendo really quick. Nintendo Switch is getting a Disney themed console.
Yep.
I thought, whoa, that's kind of cool. And then I looked at it, and it's all right. It's not kind of what I was expecting, but it makes sense. It's fairly understated, but it looks cool. It's like the Disney characters as their Tsum Tsum characters, and they're all kind of nicely put onto your Switch dock in a pattern and everything. And the Joy-Cons are purple and pink, I believe. And I was like, okay, there's probably some people that would really want this. That's why I'm bringing it up. And then
all of the Tsum Tsums behind me, I'm just playing those out. Not on camera.
I just look up and it's like an army of Tsum Tsums. You might be interested in this. Even though it does kind of look like it's for 12-year-old girls. But that's okay. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Not judging.
I like purple. I like pink. There's nothing wrong with it. Wouldn't put it on my Switch, but whatever. It's only in Japan.
It is. It's a very Japanese thing, and it's coincide with the Tsum Tsum like party game that's coming out too.
In Japan, right? That one's not Japan only, right?
No, it's coming everywhere because it was a Nintendo Direct. Yeah, the colors weird. It's very like a lot of polka dots on everything, including the dock and then the Joy-Con. Yeah. The one thing I do honestly love, and I would love to be able to buy in a normal color, is the fact that the home button is a Mickey. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice touch where it's not just a color change, like it's actually just that little Disney hint. If I can get those in like a red and yellow, like Mickey Mouse colors, that'd be pretty awesome. Or black and white to be like, the old school Mickey. But yeah, it's cool. It's very Japanese. We're not going to get them here by any means, but it is a very cool little nod to see that Disney get its own themed Switch.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure that won't stop some people from buying it anyways. Here in
Caroline.
Sweet.
Caroline's going to import it. So I'll stay on the Nintendo train here.
Okay. Shoot.
There is some sort of Pokemon Go event happening in New York City. Not a big surprise. This is still a thing. I'm actually more surprised that Pokemon Go is still a thing. But it is. And, Team Rocket showed up. Going throughout New York, painting on Pokemon Go advertisements that are spread throughout all of New York, putting mustaches on Pokemon. They're in full Team Rocket gear with like backpacks and like the all black and red, like the whole nine. And it clearly is a stunt, put out by Nintendo for this event. But I find it hilarious that they're taking it to the next level, making it almost like an AR type game where it's like it's happening in reality and happening in virtually as well. So Team Rocket is actually appearing to it at like different what do they call them, gyms and different things where they do the raids. They're actually showing up there. The Team Rocket balloon has touched down in New York City, like the big air balloon that they have, like that showed up in places too. So they're really just taking this whole thing and making it hilarious by having like cosplayers basically running through New York City graffitiing Pokemon Go stuff.
Now, are they doing this to protect the world from devastation?
Yes.
Tonight, unite all peoples within this nation?
This nation only.
Only this nation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No sightings of Meowth though. I'm a little disappointed by that.
Can I just say not my Team Rocket, because my Team Rocket wears white and not black and red. So
well, that's true. That is true. But I just thought it was fun. It's a little fun thing that they're doing.
That is fun. I'm sure somebody will come along and ruin it because that's usually what people do, but it's fun while it lasts.
I wonder if anybody got in trouble doing it. Like if a cop was like seeing people graffiti stuff in the subway, was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" It's like, no, I work for Nintendo. I'm supposed to do this kind of deal. Like
they're like, "Yeah, whatever, kid." Wham, and then hits him with a nightstick.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's the next police brutality thing I want to see.
Yeah, but the news would get it wrong because they wouldn't know what it was from, so they would just be like, some like cartoonish looking bad guy gets beat down with a
Team Rastafarian got beat with nightsticks here in New York City. Like what?
The kids would not have it.
They were playing Harry Potter.
Horrible. Yeah. Speaking of what kids won't have, that's called segue.
Yeah.
I read this. I don't think we talked about this before, but Cyberpunk 2077 will not have any pre-order bonuses.
Well, I mean, neither did Steampunk 1 through 2076, really. So why would anything change in this one?
I know. I can't believe they came out with that many games. It's crazy.
Such a small studio to do all that.
Well, I mean, the biggest packages come from the smallest people.
It's true.
So
I have one question on this though. So they claim, so they say no pre-order bonuses, which is fine. Like that's what I get. But so the comment though was on Twitter, and the response was, "We don't do that. Every person that buys the game gets exactly the same in-game content, no matter if they buy it in pre-orders on that release date or 2 years later."
Okay.
Well, they sold DLC to Witcher, didn't they? Everything wasn't free, was it?
No.
So they do that. They don't all get the same in-game content when they buy the game.
But they're saying they don't do the pre-orders where if you pre-order it from GameStop, you get this. But if you pre-order it from Target, then you get this specific thing. And you will never be able to get the other thing because you didn't pre-order it.
Okay.
So that's what they're saying they don't do, which I'm not really aware of how that's affecting people because I haven't pre-ordered anything that was specifically like that.
Right.
I know that things have gotten pretty crazy, like Human Revolution, the Deus Ex game.
Yeah.
Human Revolution, where they were like, well, if we get this many pre-orders, then you unlock this tier of what you get bonus. It's like, what when you game the pre-order system, that's just awful. So it is kind of nice because remember, CD Projekt is the company that does like good old games. Or Galaxy of Games, as I almost just called them that. I'm like, wait, which one is the real one? They go out of their way to try to make gaming, I don't want to say fair, but less greasy. You know what I mean?
It makes sense. Even the note that came with The Witcher, where it's like thanking all fans that was inside the boxes for everybody that bought the Witcher game, like that stuff like that. And they gave the soundtrack to everyone for free, I think, as well. But like, yeah, they typically do things, and it's nice to see for sure. And I think that's why fans seem to stick with them.
Yeah. I mean, I have no qualms with pre-ordering Cyberpunk 2077. And I will say this, I was upset because Best Buy didn't have it pre-order for PC, did physical copy. They do now. They do have it now. Ooh. It was just Xbox and PS4. So that made me happy. But yeah, good on ya. Good on ya, mate. They're not Australian.
They're not.
Neither was that accent.
Nope. Not at all. So speaking of giving the fans what they want and making it all accessible to everybody.
Ooh.
Remember the game Doom?
Yeah, but I feel like it wasn't that popular.
It's true. But somehow they came out with a sequel, Doom 2.
Yeah. Doom 2.
And then there was Doom 3. We're getting Doom Eternal this year.
Maybe this is a little bit more popular than I thought.
Possibly. But what they did today at QuakeCon, which is going on right now, they announced that all 3 of those games are arrived already on Nintendo Switch, surprise, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and for mobile platforms, including iOS and Android devices, all available today. Like right now they did it. And it was like stealth drop. Nobody heard this is coming.
I love when they do that.
Yep. And it's honestly a good deal. So Doom 1 and Doom 2 both cost $5 each. Doom 3 is $10. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, keeping in mind, Doom 3 has been available. The original Doom has been available on Xbox since 2006, thanks to like backwards compat. So that's there. But for a lot of these other ones, it's the first time they've ever hit in there. And it's all to kind of build up the hype for Doom Eternal, which is coming to Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, obviously, all on November 22nd. So it's kind of cool to see that stealth dropped, and they just kind of plopped it on there and say, hey, guys, this is all available right now. So it has me intrigued. So if you got $20, you can get the entire Doom library for the console of your choice right now.
I would probably play this on the Switch, honestly.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking. If it runs well, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, and listen to the music. I just need a soundtrack player.
That's true. Don't even play the game, just go into the menus.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the sound test? I need that. Remember when games had sound test?
I was about to say, remember? Yeah, that was nuts. Nobody ever used it.
Ugh. All right.
But now we sit there and listen to retro soundtracks all the time, but we never listened to it. We had the opportunity or capability to do so. Well,
why would you? You had to be playing games.
It's true.
Now we just talk about playing games and never play them.
Facts right there.
Facts. Here's some more facts coming at you. Well, I guess I don't know if they're facts, but they're theories. They're trends that are being noted. So this is something I read that was actually kind of interesting. It comes from Inverse, which I'm not really familiar with, but PS5 versus new Xbox. Console makers flash warning sign about price hikes. Now, I'm not going to just read this verbatim, where normally I would because it's just easier sometimes. But in this case, if you want to know the meat of the story, just look it up. Just search what I just said. But basically what it's saying is that Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft all basically have come together to say if the Chinese tariffs come through and are passed and this all takes place, then we as consumers are going to see an incredible increase in the price of all of this stuff. Because a lot of these components come from China. So if you put tariffs on this stuff, I think it's 25% levy on these exports. You take something that's $100, add another $25 to it. And
realistically, we're looking at these consoles being like $300 or $400. That's a big jump.
Yes. So it to look at this. Here's the problem. You look at this and you just think, okay, what am I supposed to do about that? And it's true. I don't know what I can do about it other than start, squirreling away some shekels and hoping that maybe
keep playing on PC.
Yeah, exactly. And hope I never have to buy another graphics card after.
Yep.
That's another thing that'll get hit is the PC gamer population and their stuff. So, it's not a good time. nobody cares until it interrupts their gaming, and then everyone's going to be up in arms because then they're going to be like, I already can't afford half this stuff. Now you're going to make it more expensive. Kevin, your thoughts?
It's true. It's true. No, I'm with you. I've said it a lot actually that as much as I've wanted to start putting money away and saving for the next Xbox specifically, because I think that's the route I'm going, simply because of like Game Pass, things like that. I won't need to buy games. It's kind of what my goal is. I want to take the Lucas Rose patented humble bundle approach with my Xbox and just play Game Pass games. So I'm like, okay, well that'll save me some money not buying software because I'll just be able to buy the console. But I haven't even started to do that yet. And the fact that this is coming out scares me even more, that I'm like, well, I might as well just keep playing what I have for a long time, because if this actually passes, I'm not purchasing anything new hardware wise for a while. I think I can't justify, number one, I wouldn't be able to justify spending $400 on a console, period. So if it came out at $400, I'd automatically probably be like, I'm out. But then to sit there and say, well, actually with the tariff it's $500, and actually with sales tax you tack on another in Rhode Island 7% for that. No.
Yeah.
No. At that point, it's ridiculous. I'm reaching well over like car payments, all my utility bills, like combined, all that stuff combined. Like it's nowhere near that. I can't justify that.
Yeah. Well, it's the last point that this brings up has to do with that. And with that thinking in mind, if that happens and people stop buying this stuff as much, then the amount of investment that these companies do in their consoles will suffer, because they're not making as much money. So why are they going to make a pro model, for instance? Yep. They're going to have to cut that out. They could up the battery life, or be able to promise 60 frames per second on all titles at 4K, but not if this comes through. They're going to have to probably reevaluate their price to performance ratio, try to figure out if it makes more sense to go with a cheaper card, and basically hinder the ability to push the limits of what you can do with a console by not using the latest and greatest, because now it's becoming unobtainable. It's almost like a swing the other direction, because when things become smaller and cheaper, we're able to do so much more. But then if it's not cheaper, that just kind of throws the whole idea out of the window.
Yeah. And it's you look at, I was already kind of like, it seems early for next gen anyway. Like we just did this. Like it seems early to me. And I still am not convinced, like the technology, once we see these new consoles in action, they're really going to look that much better, unless you have a top of the line TV and sound setup or whatever the case is, that if they then have to start scaling back, like realistically, okay, what is really going to be different between the model I have now and the new model if they need to scale back?
Ray tracing. You got to trace those rays, man.
I don't know who Ray is and why I need to trace him, but that's just ridiculous.
It's the kind of tracing when you fall on the ground and they use chalk and they trace around your body.
Yeah.
I never understood what that was for, but I see it a lot. So
yeah, happens all the time to Ray Liotta. That's why it's ray tracing.
That's very true. Yes. I know him. He's friends with my brother. So dark times ahead if this stuff happens, and let's face it, I don't really see why it wouldn't. But they sent that to the government, the United States of America government.
America.
So I'm sure a lot will happen because of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Trump labeled it fake news and just shoved it aside.
It's true. Although I don't know, if he sees less money being made, that might scare him enough. So we'll see.
That's true.
And
although Microsoft would be the only one paying taxes in here anyway, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know what Nintendo of America would pay in taxes, because they're not producing anything here.
There's always a loophole.
Yeah. Who knows?
They can shove it in their loopholes.
Speaking of shoving in your loophole, no, that's not a segue. We're going to go back to the dark places of Twitch here. And I know I'm a bit Twitch heavy, but there's been some interesting stories happening in the past week or so on Twitch. And none of these are about Dr. Disrespect in the bathroom, so don't worry here, folks, in this one. This next one I sent to Lucas earlier this week and said, hey, I want to talk about this later.
I was like, we have to.
Yeah, Alinity is a popular gamer on Twitch with almost 1 million. Well, I don't want to say almost 1 million, almost 900,000 followers on Twitch. She also put some of her greatest hits to YouTube and has like 150,000 followers there. Much like most of the Twitch streamers do that. They put like a highlight reel and post them to YouTube. But she's mostly known as a professional live streamer and apparently controversial one. So this is funny. So taking other human garbage from Twitch, PewDiePie, which I guess he's more of a YouTuber, and his stance on things and how much I hate PewDiePie, almost as much as I hate him more than I hate Ninja. So let's put it that way. He's been embraced as a meme by the far right for his anti-Semitic statements. He called her, another woman of their shared community, stupid Twitch thoughts, which if you're not sure what a thought is there, children, you can go ahead and Google that. Just be careful. And he even went as far as blaming her for the harassment she received based on how she dressed. So the fact that people would like bully her or make, lewd comments in the chat was her fault because of the way she decided to dress. If you've seen her streams, she dresses for a reason, which if you're doing that and you're into that audience and you're paying her for doing that, that's on you. That's, I'm not blaming her for that. What I am intrigued about was she has a history apparently of mistreating her animals. So in the past, before we get to this most recent incident, there was an old clip where her dog was chasing her cat and she kicked the dog. But I saw that, and I think if you click on the link in there, Lucas, and you watch it, it's barely a kick. It's like a shove the dog with your foot thing, which I'm sure every dog owner has done at some point when a dog is doing something they're not supposed to be doing.
No, can't say that. Now PETA's after you.
Well, it's not a kick. It's not a kick, so I don't want to say it that way. But the other one that I found was kind of messed up. Was a video in which she took a giant swig of vodka.
I just saw it. Sorry. I agree. Not a kick.
Yeah. Okay. So you saw it. So the second clip, though, is she takes a big swig of vodka and proceeds to kiss her cat, like on the lips. Okay. And she spits some of that vodka into the cat's mouth.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
And the cat visibly freaks the F out.
Vodka.
And like runs away. Which actually even got the eye of Ricky Gervais, of all people, actually saw this and like called her out for it. This was like a year ago or years ago, actually, when this happened. So the most recent issue, though, is she was filmed throwing her cat while streaming. So she's playing Apex Legends, ironically enough, and is like in a firefight, and the cat looks to appear to either be on her desk or maybe walking across the keyboard, which I don't think happened, because if you watch the video, it doesn't appear to be like nothing's freaking out on her screen, which if we've ever had a pet walk across your keyboard, your screen freaks out because it's pressing every key imaginable.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to happen on her stream that would indicate that. It seems like maybe the cat's on the desk. Well, she reaches forward to the cat, grabs the cat, and tosses it over her head. Now she's sitting in a gaming chair, much like you, Lucas. So the top of your gaming chair is what, at least 4.5 feet off the ground, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And she tosses the cat over that. So it's probably 5.5 feet. And this cat appeared to be doing absolutely nothing. And she just launches it over her shoulder. And people started freaking out about that. So people have clipped it and sent it out there, tagged PETA in on it. And here's the thing. And this is kind of semi-timely because I think the last Kevin Hates Everything I did was about gaming's toxic environment, where I also not only called out guys for being slime balls, but girls for sometimes not acting appropriate on stream as well. She's gotten no punishment from Twitch at all for any of this stuff. Now we look at how many guys we've known as streamers that have been banned for doing equally or lesser things that have gotten banned. It seems kind of weird. And people are even calling her out for that, saying like, hey, Twitch, you need to do something about this. But they're saying because she's a woman, they won't do it. So Keemstar, who is, if you've ever seen my YouTuber, he does drama alerts, he calls them, where he takes things on the internet and kind of, he's basically, what's that show on TV with the paparazzi and they follow people, but they'll stand in cubicles and talk about the stories.
Oh gosh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I cannot. Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts. Why can't I think of it?
Well, the real life is TMZ.
Yes, TMZ. Okay, so it's like he's basically the internet version of TMZ almost, where he like goes off on these rants on these videos and calls out drama alerts. But he even said he's like, she did all these other things in the past, and he's kind of making his goal to get her banned from Twitch. He's like, and now she threw a cat over her head, but he's saying if a guy did it, it'd be a permaban. So then he was like later on tweeting, he's like, why does Twitch only ban men? Which has happened for a bunch of other different people. And, Pete has been involved now. Pete is calling for the banning of her on Twitch, and all those other kind of things. And she is yet to apologize, really. She kind of did, saying she had a lapse in judgment, but then everyone started pulling out these old clips about quote unquote kicking the dog, which I don't agree with, but the vodka thing with the cat, like, you're a habitual animal abuser, it looks like. So
yeah, well, and that's the thing is, if you take any one of these things, even the vodka thing by itself, and that was the only thing that was going on, okay, sure. I mean, yeah, you're still not really that great, but especially the vodka one, that's probably the one that is the worst. Because I read that she said that she just dropped the cat. Now, if that's true, why did you have to like?
Yeah, you would put it next to, like, I have cats, so if when I grab one, I would grab and put it next to me. I would never be like over the head.
Yes, even if you just dropped her from there and just
yeah.
But it definitely does look like she launches it like a trebuchet.
Yeah.
So if it was just one of these things, okay, not really a problem. But then, like, the more that I see, the more I'm just kind of like, maybe you should just not have animals if they're really that big of a problem. I will say that if for everybody who has cats in streams, it seems like it's a problem. Like, the cat will not leave you alone. So if I've learned anything, it's to not have a cat, or it will puke in my computer for sure.
Yeah. So I will say though, some of the reactions to her doing this are also contributing to the toxic gaming environment. So some people are like calling for a change.org petition. Animal cruelty thing has launched an investigation on her. She said she'll cooperate with people that want to ask about that and stuff. But then, of course, because the internet's a terrible place, they're making lewd things, saying she's offering people at Twitch sexual favors in to get out of these bans or any punishment whatsoever. So while I don't think a perma ban would be like the way to go, I am just surprised based on the history of Twitch and banning people, at least for a little bit, like punishment, like a month or so. I'm surprised they haven't done anything when she has a couple different instances of something happening.
This is way worse to me than what happened to Dr. Disrespect. As far like, I mean, the punishment should be basically the same.
Yeah, I mean, he was off for a
month. I don't remember.
It was 2 weeks or a month. It was something like that. It wasn't super long, but like, do something
long enough for, when you're twitching every day.
You should see a medical
yeah,
specialist.
You should. And you're losing revenue, especially, when you're getting that many people watching your stream at a time. So yeah, it is kind of weird. And like I said, I don't know. I get my problem. Like you said, this toxic thing going on Twitter and everything. It's not really anybody's point. Like, it's not in their right to say anything like what they're doing at all. Mm-hmm. What annoys me basically is that it's okay to like blow the whistle and be like, hey, Twitch, this is going on. Check this out.
Yes.
I think you should do this. But your credibility is completely squandered when you're just posting pictures of Patrick and SpongeBob and
compromising positions,
compromising and labeling them and name calling and bullying. It's internet bullying.
Yes, like, that is.
You're just stooping down to that level, almost to a worse degree. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm the type of person who just sticks to my own business. This is horrible, but I mean, I'm not here to police the internet.
I'm not signing any petition. I'm not doing anything action. I say Twitch should be doing something, but that's where I stop in this conversation. Like, I have no skin in the game, but like you're right, is like the whole situation from both sides kind of disgusts me. But speaking of other Twitch behavior and people just being lewd, so I've seen a couple of these clips from her already, but Paladin Amber has kind of been a little bit more of a viral star lately because of the way she's handling internet trolls. So lately, a few days ago, well, actually it's more like a week and a half ago, people in the chat, are asking different things, and somebody asked her how much for a hug, and like in the blink of an eye, she goes into like a side cam view. So like she was set up to do this, which almost makes me think some of this was pre-planned. I don't think, listen, if you're a girl streamer, you're probably getting tons of inappropriate comments in your chat nonstop. So I think like they just don't even pay attention to the chat personally.
Yeah.
But I think this was her way of combating it. But somebody asked like, how much for a hug? And she completely comes to a fake like infomercial overlay appeared. It was like breaking news, garbage goblin is something very important to Slay. She's like, you want to know how much it is for a hug? That's right. You guessed it's going to be $19.90 F off. And she goes into like, call this number to order now and this and that. And she's just been doing these different ways to deal with the trolls.
That's awesome.
And it's really funny if you watch the clips, the way she handles it. I love it. I think it's great. And she's doing the same thing, but like everyone's like, show your boobs and do all those kind of things. And it's a terrible thing. And she's not, based on what I've seen, I don't follow her. She doesn't seem to be what you'd call like a booby streamer or something like that, where like you're just clearly kind of pandering to your audience, if you will. She doesn't seem to be doing that at all.
Yeah. She's wearing a loose fitted cable knit sweater. Okay. Yeah. The puppies are fully put away. They're in the house.
Yes. So it's like
against the cat ear headphones. Ugh.
The cat ear headphones, yeah. But it's like there's no need for this stuff. But she does this. But the thing is, now she's done this a few times. So while I appreciate and applaud her for the message she's trying to send in a funny, humorous way, my fear is it's just inviting more of this conversation to see what she does and how she reacts.
Yeah.
Now, she may not have a problem with that because, hey, it's more followers, it's more attention. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, if this truly doesn't bother her at all, which good on her. If she's not fazed by people saying any stuff, then that's a testament to her character and her ambition to really want to do this, to ignore all this stuff. I wouldn't want to make this my internet shtick. Like, I wouldn't want, like, if she wants to be known as an Overwatch streamer, because that's what she's kind of known for, and she's good based on everything I've seen. It just seems like you want to be known for that. You don't want to be known for making funny infomercials when people taunt you, because that's just going to turn into what you have to do all the time. And then people are getting mad when you're not doing that. So it's like, you're kind of boxing yourself in.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely. Well, and at what point is it, you're here to play a game. You're not here to entertain people with your fake infomercials.
Right.
I do agree. It is funny, but like you said, if it becomes a thing, then it's just kind of obnoxious, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, she's
like you said, inviting people to say these dumb things.
Right. And she says, though, that she's dead serious about the message at the heart of being funny about it. She wants people to cut it out. She hopes that her clips inspire other people to call it toxic viewers instead of letting them just fly under the radar. So she kind of wants to call attention to these people, but that's where I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be
attention. That's the problem.
Right. It's just not, it's not the attention they're asking for, but you're still paying attention.
But it could be a 12 or 13-year-old kid who's like, I'm going to say this really stupid thing because, I'm not an adult, but I think it's funny to say butts and farts. So if you do give them attention, I do feel like it is probably going to swing around the other way and be problematic in the end. But it is a creative attempt at a solution to a horrible, horrible problem.
Yeah.
Give it that.
So I applaud her efforts and I hope it works out. I guess I'm not as optimistic about the internet stopping or changing their ways, but good on her. But it's funny if you have a chance to check it out. Paladin Amber, like I said, check it out. You'll see some clips on there. They are pretty funny. The way she handles it is really cool. But yeah, only so much you can do, I guess, in this toxic environment.
We got to figure out how we are going to handle the people who come into our show and start asking to see our boobs and stuff.
I mean, we'll patreon.com/PSVG, right?
Oh, that's right. We just have them. If you could just donate like $1, so my poor kids could eat, that would just change their lives and mine.
It's true. On that note, I think we should sign off for the night. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've done enough blabbing.
That's true. Probably more than enough blabbing. But before we leave, Lucas, where can people find you and your shenanigans on the interwebs?
Well, I'm always creeping around the Discord channels. That's the best way to get to me. Do one of those little ats, tag me and say your piece to me, and I will come as if summoned to you and ask you what you want. We'll have a discussion. Other than that, you can tweet at me on Twitter at heavymetal_riff, and I'll get back to you. And that's like the equivalent of email now for me. Like if you email me, that means I don't have to respond to you
ever.
Remember? Yeah. So probably don't do the Twitter unless tag me in one of those long messages about something, and then every time someone responds, I get another notification. That is the death of Twitter for me. That's what's going on there. So, Discord.
Okay. Fair enough. You can also listen to Lucas on Flux to Pose if you're not subscribing to that already. But let's be honest.
What's that?
If you're listening to PSVG, you listen to Flux to Pose. Who are you kidding?
I do enough apologizing for Flux to Pose as it is on that show. I don't need to apologize about it here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You can follow me if you want on Twitter at PSVG Kevin. Follow the show and the network overall at PSVG. If you want to find all the things, including the link to that Discord to join up with us, head over to psvg.blog, B-L-O-G, that is. And, thank you to everybody for tuning in, listening, hopefully telling a friend. We appreciate you. That's the only reason we do this. Lucas and I can't just sit here and talk to each other. That would be weird. Why would people talk to each other?
This is the internet. We're supposed to be fighting right now.
That's true. Show me your boobs. Yeah.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG. Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.